Hi everyone, welcome. Thanks for subscribing, for checking out the research. This is not my footage. This was taken with a monocular, night vision, Chinese monocular, from my friend Ken Macleod from Ireland. Once in a while, Ken sends in some nice footage of UFOs that he can capture. And this one, he was looking at Orion last night, or maybe not last night, a couple days ago, I think the email was. And this caught his eye. It passed quickly in the viewfinder and he followed it. So once in a while, this is how we see them. Even me the other night, I couldn't see any for 2 or 3 nights in a row. I thought I'd see more than that. You really have to look for them. So this is just with the exposure taken down, his original video. I slowed it down a little bit just to show you guys that the center, so obviously he's moving, trying to focus on it. It's just a dot. That's all you see of the UFO. It's a little light. It looks like the star Arcturus and Boody's constellation. But taking a few frames, check it out. We can see these objects. There we can see it. That's the same object as it's advancing. But the overall shape is that yellow line or bar all the time. Maybe out of 100 frames, I saw this maybe 16, 20 times. And you know, it could be a craft, but again, it's so far and it's moving so fast. Ken, thanks for sharing it. Really appreciate it. Now, this is very serious. I don't know how many times people overlook this. You're looking at the surface of the moon. A light just appeared. I'm not going to say or even put my judgment along with it, but I want you guys to open your eyes and pay attention to what I'm showing you. Under a cloud that you've just seen appear, I don't care how many times you tell me you didn't see those 3 dots appear in the center of that red circle. This is very real. It's under the haze. There's an object right there in the bottom scooting by that would be at least 8 or 9 miles wide. This marker or whatever on the surface, illuminated but black, whatever it may be. A little light dot off to the right. Now watch, this is not blurry, just stare to the left. Do you know what a clearing looks like? Do you know what it looks like when clouds blow over? Well, that's exactly what you're looking at. And look what's underneath, on the surface of the moon. Watch this. There you go. When the clouds move over, I take pictures and people say, well, where are you getting these structures? There's nothing there. You guys are going to have to believe me at one point. Look at the objects appearing before us. Pyramid, top left. They're placed like a pyramid, the objects. UFO moving over, lights on the surface, a haze or cloud. Obviously, you can see that it's clouds rolling over. It's a pretty nice shot to be able to see the clouds. I don't know if you know how easy it is to get the surface of the moon and its clouds, okay? I worked hard at it. They're the lights on the right appearing again. What can you say about that? You can't say anything at all. See those lines that are appearing all the time? I got a problem with that. That's the veil. And every time I get to the surface level, we're literally looking underneath. Look at the lights on the surface, guys, okay? Think of it. We are literally on the surface of the moon, under the haze and clouds. Watch the square on the bottom go by. So now we have another problem. Geometrical shapes on the surface of the moon, and the lights appear around this square. We see it when the clouds roll over, with a colorful surface, of course. Hey, this is right on the moon, guys, without any filters whatsoever. Watch this, just descending the exposure. You can clearly see the gases and electric fires on the surface, the smokes and hazes, light sources lighting up, UFOs going by. It's all there, you know, and there are hundreds and hundreds of anomalies on the surface. We're not talking about 1 or 2. I dare ya. Look at this and tell me that these things are satellites. I freaking dare ya. Tell me that this looks like a satellite. Tell me that what I just posted right now in front of you is dust on my screen, letting off a yellow glow. Come on. These are on the surface. They could be alive, they could be UFOs. That's not even important. There's something up there, and it's not supposed to be. We're seeing anomalies crossing paths under the smoke or haze on the surface. But look at this yellowish glow coming from this, almost looks like a sphere with a net attached to it, and they're picking up fish in the sea or something. Maybe it's a boat maybe it's a fishing boat fishing on the clear waters of the moon. Nothing would surprise me anymore. It's too bad the world is so skeptical, because I get people asking me, how come the UFOs look clearer than the rest of the screen? So freaking stupid. I don't even know why people are asking that, but it's because people are trying to find out my defaults instead of viewing what I'm actually exposing. This went on for 2 years, by the way. We're looking at objects on the surface launching or whatever from the surface. We've seen it in the, what is that video where you see all those alien-like, is it the tether incident, right? You see everything being launched from the space, and you see these jellyfish-like creatures. STS-85, is that it? The tether incident, you gotta look that up, those who haven't, because they show Martians in space. Creatures all over the place, biological creatures, literally. And I don't understand how that was shown. Look, are you seeing how many objects are going by? I'm just sitting there with the telescope, okay? And they're all going by. And they're changing routes to go upwards and all pass by the same trajectory. We have a clear UFO trajectory on the surface. Now, these can't all be satellites, that's for sure. Why don't the observatory telescopes see this, Bruce? Very simple. Unless you slow the footage down and stare at the surface for hours and hours and hours, and pause it and sit there with your magnifying lens and analyze the craters. I'm finding a UFO traffic on the surface. They're going in and out of every single crater that I've been looking at so far. And beside every single crater that I'm looking at so far, there is alien activity. We're seeing vessels all over the friggin' place. Different shapes, sizes, different kinds, and they're all beside the craters that every astronomer has always ever shown. People ask me if I think the astronauts ever went to the moon in 1969. If I was to give my opinion, well, first of all, John Lehrer talked to me about the Van Allen belts, the radiation, not being able to get across that, so ouch. I looked that up, and yeah, of course he was right. And not just that, if we want to get through also the exosphere, guys, do you know how thick the steel would have had to have been for them not to be vaporized by the heat of the thermosphere and by the radiation of the Van Allen belts? Now here's the thing, as they're going up, stratosphere, they're going up, they get to the point where the meteors are, and the meteors come into Earth's atmosphere, they're going up over that, and then they get up to the thermosphere. But the thermosphere is very vast, it's wide and long, and 200 degrees Celsius at the bottom, and then I'll jump to Fahrenheit, 3,362 degrees Fahrenheit as it's going up, almost 4,000 degrees. Therefore, 3,632 degrees Fahrenheit. Yes, the lower thermosphere can be about 200 degrees Celsius, but the higher you go, the higher the temperatures get. We're talking just under 4,000 degrees Fahrenheit, and that melts steel. Steel melts at 2,500 degrees Fahrenheit. They would have melted. The spacecraft had aluminum alloy in it, had stainless steel apparently, so alloys of aluminum, they don't melt at a fixed temperature, but rather over a range of temperatures dependent on their composition. So the melting point varies at a range from 570 degrees Celsius to 640 degrees Celsius, which is 1,055 degrees Fahrenheit to 1,180 degrees Fahrenheit. So the aluminum alloy would have started to melt, and then the steel would have melted, and that's, would have killed the astronauts through the radiation of the belts, first of all. Yeah. So we heard the astronauts wanted to turn on their heaters because it was getting cold. So they were activating the heaters. Well, that would have meant that they would have been in the mesosphere. That would be the coldest layer around Earth.